Monday. Okay, right. So we have another week for learning, and this, as I said, is the fourth and the last week. After today, all of you are going to write your papers. Last week we followed up all the way up to chapter 7. I believe you have all downloaded the slides that I've posted on your page. If you haven't done that, please endeavor to do so. And that is to say that we have run all the way up to chapter 7. In other words, chapter 7 is gone. Today being the last day, we're tackling chapter 8, I guess. Chapter 8, yes. Oh, chapter 8. And yes, where exactly did we get to? Or we didn't finish chapter 7. We got to a point and I paused. Yes, we started looking at the conflicts. We mentioned them, and I remember we did the causes of conflict in West Africa. We got to that point and we stopped. So today I'm continuing from that point. Uh, that is to say that chapter 7, which is on conflict and development, was partly done last week. And the part that was done was the introductory part. Mhm. The conflicts that we have experienced in West Africa so far, the emerging ones, if I remember very well. Well, I think that was where I got to the emerging ones. I finished the past ones and I was going on to the emerging ones. All right, and that was where we stopped. So today, I'll start from the emerging, present, and emerging conflicts. Is it not baffling to think, to believe, to hear, to know, to realize that at this time and age, we have conflict that is emerging? But hey, that is Africa for you. That's how we do our things. As the guy said, mhm, the legends. So there are still pockets of places where we are threatened as a sub-region by conflicts. And those places are your own country, Ghana, mhm, Senegal, Nigeria, Mali, Niger, Mauritania. These places are highly volatile. Of course, they are volatile in the sense that at the least mistake, conflict was will break up, will break out. We are in a precarious situation in the sense that we are surrounded by number one francophone countries who are controlled by their colonial masters still, and so in their countries, if anything happens, their colonial master will jump in and settle the score. And so sometimes pocket of it. We have seen conflict in Cote d'Ivoire. We see conflicts some of the times in Burkina Faso. It's only Togo, and even that when Eyadema, the senior man, was about to leave, there were pockets of conflicts here and there. All right, but relatively Ghana is peaceful, and so there have been coup d'etats in Guinea-Bissau and Mali. There have been insurgents, that is to say, where rebel groups have been rising and have been tormenting people in the Sahel region. I've been telling you about the Sahel, um, Burkina, Mauritania, Mali, Niger. These are the Sahelian countries. And if you check, you find that most of the terrorist groups are coming from these areas. All right. And so they threaten our peace every now and then. And they have been low key. The book says low key conflicts in places like Ghana, Senegal, and Nigeria. Why we refer to them as low key is that they have not threatened the entire country that much. Because you remember, maybe some of you were not born or you were young. Remember the Konkomba and the Numba War. In recent times, Alavanyo and Nkunya. In recent times, Kusasi and Mampusi, somewhere up north. And so these are the pockets of violence, conflicts that we have been experiencing. So starting, we have Nigeria, which recently have had insurgents, uprising, torment from Boko Haram. And they have done that since 2002. All right. It started as a group known as MEND, and the men transmogrified into Boko Haram. The MEND is Movement for the Emancipation of the Niger Delta. You know, Nigeria is an oil-rich country. Three oil-rich countries in Africa, not West Africa, in Africa, Nigeria is one of them. And you know, wherever you have oil, if you are not careful, there will be violence. Therefore, the Niger Delta is where Nigeria has plenty oil. And so a group rose wanting to sort of demand their share of the booty, and they formed a terrorist group. Then in Mali, a group known as National Movement for the Liberation of Azawad. Remember, Mali is a Muslim dominated country. Nigeria is about 60-40, if I am not mistaken. 60 Muslims, about 40 Christians. Mali there, pure, purely Islam. So this group stood up, all right, wanting some, some booty from the government, all right. And then we have Tuaregs. It's a terrorist group, Tuareg, okay. Then we have another group known as Islamic. Okay, right. The Tuaregs are related to Al Qaeda. Yes, and they started their job way back in 2007. Okay, so if you check the two we have learned, you find that it wasn't conflict as such. It is just some group or some groups, terrorist groups that threaten the peace of those countries every now and then. Okay, and in Mali there was a coup d'etat in 20. Well, Vanessa, your hand is up. What's the problem?
Yes, sir.
Vanessa,
Sir, please, your screen is not sharing.
well, I don't have a screen to show. I don't have a screen to share. I'll bring you the slides. You know why? Um, the issue has been my laptop. I'm unable to share it on phone. The issue has been my laptop. All right. I have the slides here, but usually it keeps giving me problems. All right. One time it is on, the next time it's off, like that. So as you speak, there's no screen to share. Just that I'll forward all the slides to you for you to peruse. So just pay attention, follow what I am doing, and after that, I'll forward the slides to you. I hope that's okay. All right. Yes, Elijah.
Yeah, sir. You made mention of the Al Qaeda group, and you were saying they were just groups that were formed in this country. One of them is in Nigeria and Mali, but um,
Mhm.
the Al Qaeda themselves were against Western education for the women. And that is
Mhm.
all they are saying. I think a book I read is saying that they mean that Western education is a crime, and that is why they
Okay.
stood against. I don't know much about it, so if that is the
Yeah,
truth, you can you enlighten us more.
yeah. All of them are against Western education. To them, it should be Islamic education. All the terrorist groups, that we find mostly in the Muslim-dominated countries. That has been the demand. That's why in Nigeria they have Boko Haram. Book is haram. That is, book is abominable. You understand? So that has been their common stand. All right. And I said also that Tuareg is a group, okay, connected to Al Qaeda, as you know them, popular terrorist group. Okay, so they started their job in 2007. Then later in 2012, there was a coup d'etat. Okay, so at least we have these two countries that have gone through recent conflicts. Okay, remember, not in West Africa though, a prominent citizen of Ghana, Professor, one professor, oh, a very popular professor, he was killed at a shopping mall in one of their countries by terrorists. They were there for operation and he happened to be caught up in the crossfire. So he died over there. So these people are always threatening our peace. Therefore, we need to deal with them. But let's look at the causes of these pockets of conflicts, the causes themselves. Number one, bad governance and corruption. In Nigeria, in Guinea-Bissau, in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, in Cote d'Ivoire, and other West African countries. Well, Ghana was not mentioned, thankfully. They have seen worse governance, bad ones. Look at what is happening in Cameroon, even though it is not West Africa. About how many terms? 8 terms. And the president himself is 92 years. Can you imagine? He stood for the recently held elections and he won. And that sparked some kind of a controversy, riots. I saw it on TV. So bad governance is number one. Number two, human rights violations. Human rights violations. As a human being, you have every right. I was speaking to somebody who raised a child in Canada. He said, hey, in Canada, 16, they can pack themselves into a car. And he said, some two kids, 16 plus, just about after 16 years, they were driving all the way from Canada to Mexico. Can you imagine? Now, how dare you? Or who are you to tell them to stop? You understand? And so there are rights, especially in the advanced countries. For us, our rights are always trampled upon. Most of them, apart from the common ones or the hugely important ones like right to a living, right to schooling, and the right to move, right to those ones. But the right to do what you like, that one you can't do it. So the violation of human rights, like incidents of or incidences of sexual and gender-based violence, reprisal killings and beatings. All right, if this happens, it can spark conflict. Impunity on the part of state officials and state institutions, where they do what they like. They can molest you, okay? They can cheat you. You know the deal. It can bring that kind of conflict. Then um, social injustice, where a kind of animal farm will be brought into the country. Four legs good, eh? Two legs better. Remember that one. Animals drove Mr. Jones from the animal farm, all because he walks on two legs. All the animals walk on four legs. That person who was suppressing them, molesting them, was walking on two legs. So they brought out a maxim, a rule that four legs good, two legs bad. But later, when the pigs took over, Snowball and his compatriot, when they took over, they at a point were walking on two legs. All right. So when the animals questioned them, they said, no, 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 no. Four legs good, two legs better. You understand? If that is the situation, people will not agree. They will um, take to conflict. And then repressive and brutal leadership. like what was happening Mobutu Sese Seko in Zaire. Remember, where the people do not have any mouth, any nose to breathe. Unequal distribution of state resources among others. That is to say that you have what we call national cake. We all are supposed to have or take a bite, meaning it doesn't matter where you are within the country. The national cake, the national resource, the national development must get to you. If it is road, you have to get your share. If it is electricity, you have to enjoy it. If it is telecommunication, you have to get it. If it is school, you have to have it. If it is carbon water, you understand. But where it is skewed, where it is concentrated, where people are discriminated against in the distribution of these resources, they stick to us. Then poverty. But all those things I mentioned are all under human rights violations. You go to poverty as a cause of conflict, violence. Why not? A hungry man is an angry man. If you are poor, you're hungry. That's it. Because you may have the foodstuffs, but what would you use to cook it? Fire, firewood, even the salt to taste will not be available. All right. So people will take to arms if they are poor. And then something we call state collapse, where the state is not functioning. The services the state is supposed to render to you are not there. It is the duty of the state to protect you, all right? To protect you every time, every day. It is the duty of the state to give you justice. If somebody molests you or maltreats you, the state must seek justice for you. It is the duty of the state to provide you with good drinking water, all right, motorable road, and all of them. Now, if the state is unable to do this, we can conclude that that state has collapsed, and that is a recipe for conflict. Then, natural resource wealth, as I told you, depending on the wealth of the state, all right, conflict can come because people will struggle or scramble for the wealth, all right, and it can spark conflict. Unemployment is the next point, or lack of education and population pressure. If you are unemployed, you are more than idle. And so the devil finds work for the idle hands. Therefore, you will be thinking about all manner of negative things. The next time you'll be in there conflicting. Inadequate and inappropriate mediation. I keep saying that conflicts will come, troubles will come, fights will break up, will break out. But the one who will intercede, the one who will resolve it, will determine whether that conflict should end or should persist. All right. Sometimes the one who is coming to intercede may even be affected, but all the same, the person has to intercede. And so when there is conflict, if nobody intercedes, especially if it involves two opposing sides, if you are not careful, they will tear themselves apart. And in the end, the state, the area, the country, the region, the district, the electoral area will be the one that will suffer. So that is it. Now, the next factor is ethnic marginalization. And the next cause is ethnic marginalization. We have ethnic groups. Ghana, I hope you know them. Mention them. Let's see. How many ethnic groups do you have? As for tribes, don't go there. As for languages, don't go there. Let's deal with the broad outlines, the ethnic groups. How many are they in Ghana? Anybody?
Yes, about 15 of them.
Ethnic groups are far less. They are far less than 15 in Ghana.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you have the Akans,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the Ghana Dangbis,
Mm-hmm.
the Evers,
Mm-hmm.
then the Hausa group.
Hausa is not an ethnic group, as far as I know.
Hausa is a language, yeah. Um, is it the Gatis or whatever? We have their name.
We have Mole Dagbani,
Mure Dagmani, yes.
And the Guans.
and then we have
The one.
Bans. You understand? So how many have we had so far? We have
5.
had five, huh?
Yes, sir.
You have
Five.
mentioned five. It's left with one. We have about six ethnic groups in Ghana.
Mm.
I think the Gruma, the Gruma type. Hmm. Yes, about six. But that's for tribes, many, plenty. Because within our town, we have 18 tribes. My tribe, Sefi, is one. Okay. Wasa is another. Akwamu, Achim, Akwapim, Kou, Asante, Fante,
Fante.
Ahanta. They're all of them. So as for tribes, plenty of them. Right. So let's look at this point from the ethnic point of view, ethnic angle. That we have these ethnic groups, and if a government or somebody decide to marginalize against each and any of them, all right, there will be chaos. They will shout. Let me reference a certain budget that was, I've forgotten the year. A budget was read by the previous government when Kenoforiata was the finance minister, if you remember. The whole water region was never captured in that budget. The whole water region, be it education, be it road, be it whatever, entire region was never captured. So quickly people raised that, and I think the next time it was corrected. If they had insisted that no, that is what we are done, we stand by it, huh, it was going to spark something. And remember, at a point, a group, a splinter group from the voter came up. Remember the Papa Kwasi,
Western Togoland.
Western Togoland. They sprang up wanting independence from Ghana. You understand? So anytime an ethnic group is marginalized, remember trouble is going to come up. So an example is what happened in Liberia. Remember, Liberians were here. They were here. They have been here since my childhood, and they were given a whole area to settle, the Budumburum camp around Kaswa. Okay, and how did they come here? They came here because there was conflict in their country as a result of some repressive and marginalized governance. A government under Sergeant Doe that was marginalizing certain people. Okay, so his tribe, Sergeant Doe, was a Khan and a Mandingo person. Those are tribes in Liberia. For 10 years, for 10 years, these people were highly favored as against the others. And so Charles Taylor and his group stood up, said, no, 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 no. We have to, you know, boot this person out. And conflict erupted. Okay, so that is it. Remember, we have also read that in Cote d'Ivoire, conflict came up as a result of ethnic marginalization or something, if you remember. And that was aggravated by the political situation, all right, in Guinea and in Nigeria. So anytime a group of people, and that is why you don't have to toy with ethnicity, never. And you see, Ghana, I always bless God for uh, creating us who we are. We foresee so many things and guard against it. The problem has always been the implementation. To forestall this kind of ethnic marginalization, in our constitution 1992, the framers, you know what they did? They tied the hands of any president that if you want to select your ministers, especially, you have to consider regional balance. You have to consider religious balance. These two things can destroy the nation completely. And so, if you appoint all your ministers from a particular region, or some regions and leave others out. If you appoint all your ministers from a particular religion and leave others, there'll be chaos. So if you have checked recent example, the current president, all right, the highest from any region is three among the ministers he appointed. I mean the main ministers. At least every region in this country has a cabinet minister. The highest any region has within the cabinet is three voter region. You get it? Abuja, Afafokwe, what they say? Oh, Afafokwe, Isufi. And then Atibo. No. Jifa, Gomashi. Aha, Okudato. These are the three ministers, cabinet ministers from voter. But I would say they have only, they and I think Ashanti also, have, there are the only two regions that have three cabinet ministers. The rest two, one. One region we have one, the health minister. And all the 16 were catered for. Fantastic. And if you remember, people hailed the current president for doing that. And the constitution was guarding against this ethnic marginalization, which is a recipe for chaos. You understand? And that's why I'm thanking God that we foresaw that something can, and you can get so a president who is so ethnocentric. One day, you can get a president who is so tribalistic. One day. So now, no matter how tribalistic or ethnocentric you are, you cannot do what you want to do because you are bound by the constitution to appoint people from every corner. So ethnic marginalization. Then we have small arms and light weapons proliferation. Proliferation. That is the springing up of these small arms. It can bring conflict. Why? Because people, and they say that if you have hammer in your hands, you treat every problem like a nail. If you have a gun, a short one, even where there is no commotion, the stupid one would want to cause commotion and try his gun. Those who go for black powers to fight, even where there's no fight, they want to still cause a fight so that they can try it. Those who go for black powers in regards of cutlass, all right, they want to try cutlass fight. You understand? And so where there are these arms, people are likely to foment trouble. And here, the availability of it, the accessibility of it, the affordability of it, and how porous and how porous our borders and legal framework is will determine whether small arms will be there or not. I've mentioned what five things: availability, accessibility, affordability, porosity of our borders, and porosity of the legal framework. If these five things are there, all right, be sure that people are going to hold small arms. And I hope you know arms, those little guns, explosives, those ones. People will hold them and they are going to use it to foment trouble. When that happens, they are capable of staging coup d'etat. They are capable. They can put themselves together and stage a coup. And coup said that even if they don't succeed, they will destabilize the government. They are also capable of overthrowing, all right, any government undemocratically. And then they can also cause casualties. They can increase casualties. In other words, they can maim people, all right, they can kill people, and so on. And they can also bring intercommunal and intrastate conflict. That is within conflict between one community and the other, conflict between one state and the other. Say Togo and Burkina, we are neighbors. All right. So if you have small arms, these things, you are likely to go into this trouble. All right. So those are the factors, the causes. How many? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine of them. I hope you can put some of them in your head and then make use of it at the right time. Next point, still under that chapter, we are dealing with consequences of conflicts. Consequences of conflict. You look at country-specific consequences, and then you look at the general consequences or effects. Starting with Liberia, what consequences came as a result of the war that happened? Number one, people were raped. Number two, people were tortured. Number three, people were killed. Number four, infrastructure, basic ones, were destroyed. Number five, services were disrupted. Number six, people became malnourished. And number seven, it brought about the menace of child soldiers. Child soldiers. Imagine a child who is a soldier. He's a soldier because he has been taught how to detonate bomb. He has been taught how to shoot, pull the trigger. All right. That is the Liberian type. In Sierra Leone, we're talking about the killing of over 50,000 people. Over 50,000 people. In fact, in Liberia, about 250,000 people were killed in 14 years in Liberia. Okay, 250. In Sierra Leone, killing happened, 50,000 people. Then in Sierra Leone, their infrastructure and their social services were also disrupted. Those are two specific consequences with regards to Sierra Leone. Then we go to Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire, about 3,000 people died as a result of the conflict. And then people were displaced, displacement of people. Remember, some of them even drifted into our country, some of them. And so we have to even give them a camp, all right, somewhere in the Western region. Hmm? So those are country specific consequences. I'll bring the slides. I've given you the slides all the way up to chapter 7, even though we are not done with chapter 7. Then let's go to the general effect, where number one, as you mentioned, we have civilian casualties. People will die, people will get hurt, all right? They will be wounded, they will be maimed, and so on. Number two, displacement, as I mentioned in the case of Cote d'Ivoire. When you say you are displaced, it means you are unable to stay where you used to stay. You are just hovering and moving around without knowing where to go. You understand? Uh-huh. You are displaced. Then violence is one of the consequences. Child soldiers will come up. Then we have national impact on production and livelihoods. Where there's violence, nobody will go to work, so productivity will dwindle. We have infrastructure loss. Remember, you talked about it, Cameroon and Liberia and Sierra Leone. And then we have social services will also be what? Hampered. All right. So these are the consequences. Right. Now let's look at the effort, how we have managed these conflicts, how we have tried to resolve these conflicts. Okay. And so we are on initiatives towards conflict prevention and resolution in West Africa. Initiatives. So number one, in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, and Cote d'Ivoire, the first thing we do is to deploy troops, peacekeepers, under the ambit of ECOMOG. Last week, I defined ECOMOG, Economic Community Monitoring Group. All right, ECOMOG. They go to keep the peace. And what do they do when they go there? Do they also go to fight? No. They prevent the warring factions from getting to places where people are. So if it is Kumasi, they will stay around Kumasi. When they hear anything, they jump in to sack the people. Sometimes they also go for mediation. They will call the leaders of the warring faction, tell them to disarm, to stop fighting. You understand? And we heard horrendous stories about how some of them also engage in raping women. So troop deployment is number one. Number two, mediation, mediatory rule. All right, ECOWAS under the ECOWAS block. You have to mediate as a partner for. You are going to partner them, Toka. Okay, ECOWAS. Recently, when the Sahelian countries staged coup d'etats, they were excommunicated from the ECOWAS. In other words, ECOWAS sanctioned them, but they are not bothered though. Okay, so mediation. The third thing is that collaboration between ECOWAS and civil society organizations so that they talk about early warning mechanisms. So ECO one. So ECOWAS will give you early warning mechanisms or signs before the fight or the conflict breaks out. They will tell you that be careful with this, be careful with that. All right, so that it doesn't trigger the conflict. Number four, okay, they do prevention and monitoring a lot. Don't sit down idle for the fight to break up, to break out before you do something about it. Prevent it. All right, because they say prevention is better than cure. Those are the efforts. Now, what are the factors affecting the development of West Africa? Apart from conflict, what are the things that are hampering our development as a sub-region? Number one, problems of national unity. Problems of national unity. Is Ghana united? Yes or no? Are we united?
No.
Somewhat, say.
No.
Why no?
Somewhat.
Somewhat, yeah. That is true in a way. In a way, but what is not keeping us fully united, Elijah, or is it Noah?
Sir,
Elijah, yeah.
yeah, as a result of these tribalistic situations,
Mm-hmm.
that is the main problem. That is not
True.
keeping us united. And then
And what again?
that of
Uh-huh.
religion.
Yes, in the case
Uh,
of religion, maybe I'll tone it down a bit. I will bring religion down, down, down.
down.
Because
Okay.
truly, we recognize two or three major religions. Muslims, Christians are in the dominant group. Christians
Yes.
are over 70%, 71 plus.
Mhm. Yeah.
Muslims about 17 plus. You understand? Then the rest. But we find that Christians, accommodating as we are staying peacefully, comfortably with our Muslim brothers. Sometimes,
Yes. Sir.
a few times, you hear, and even the conflict and the troubles are always between they themselves, the Muslims themselves. It
And
hasn't
then,
happened.
sir,
Say,
sir,
say.
one thing is
Mhm.
also about the politics. Politics, though
That
it is
was what I
helping,
wanted. Uh-huh.
yes, it is true. We are able to change government peacefully, but
Mm-hmm.
in a way, we
Hmm.
see ourselves as enemies because of these
Hmm.
same political parties
Hmm.
due to favoritism. This time around,
Mm-hmm.
the party in power, if you are affiliated to the party in power and know somebody in the party, definitely you may one way or the other get a work to do.
Yeah.
But if you are not related to anyone there,
Mm-hmm.
unless this work like the teaching, the nursing, that is not using. But when it comes to the force work, we are all in Ghana. We know what is going through.
Mm.
And when they come to the radio station, whatever they say, then these people will
Mm-hmm.
also and the issue of the politics also head down to this this program we talk about ethnocentrism and then that ethnicity,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because
tribalism.
yes, tribalism, because some tribes are affiliated to some political parties, though not all
Yes.
of them, but
Uh-huh.
majority of them. So
Uh-huh.
this issue, even if you are in that tribe and you are not part of them, people think you are part of them, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever they say in any part of the country whereby the party that they are affiliated to is not in support of you, you are the first target.
No,
So
I don't, Elijah, don't mean words. If you're in Ashanti, it is perceived that you are NPP. If you are a voter, it is perceived you are what? NDC. That is a straight fight. Or up north. That is an open secret, or it's a fact. Let me put it that way.
but we all
You
have the
understand?
liberty, because it's a political party in the country. Everyone has the liberty to join whichever party he wants or she
Yeah,
wants.
yeah. That is the
And
thing.
that,
But you see, the point is that we have made it so acrimonious that if you are not with me, then you are my enemy. That shouldn't
Say,
be the case. Yeah.
say that one there is the fact. There's a saying that if you are not with us, you are against us. So that is the one
Mhm.
there is the fact. Also, I
But
want to add. I also
uh-huh.
want to add sporting activities also bring differences between us.
Okay.
I remember when I was young, even in my own house, Kotoko and has supporters, my uncles, they used to argue fiercely due to
Mm-hmm.
the support of Kotoko and Has. I
Mm-hmm.
think these days among the youths, we are into European football like that. But I think when I was young, Kotoko and Has,
Mm-hmm.
those two parties or those two groups were fierce rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. And the politics bit is also said that today the intra-party rivalry is even worse. Where within the same party, people are bickering and uh, 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 kicking against themselves. That one is even worse. You understand? So yes, politics and other stuff, ethnicity and so on. So we are so where there is no national unity and cohesion, you are likely to have some underdevelopment. Now, the point here is that in West Africa, the countries that we know today, all right, were all created, the states were all created by our colonial masters, Europeans. And when they did, they put ethnic groups together, they put religious groups together, they put interest groups together, these three, all right? So it didn't matter whether you are from here or from there, they put all of us together, okay? And so at some point, there is that kind of friction. There's that kind of what? Friction. And the boundaries were drawn such that some Musi people are in Ghana, others are in Burkina. Some others are in Ghana, majority in Togo. Some others in Benin, some in Ghana. Like that. So it gets to a point, they rise. For example, the Fantis and the Asantes at one time were fighting because now we are all in one group. Unlike previous time when you were minding your business and minding my business, we are all together as a country. Remember, until the bond of 1844, there was no country called Gold Coast. There wasn't. Every kingdom or chiefdom that you know today was existing, protecting its own land independently. All right. So when they signed the bond, the British, the Europeans in the castle started ruling the nearby kingdoms and chiefdoms through their chiefs. And so at a point they extended their tentacles all the way into the forest area to engulf Asante and other places into the country that we have today as Ghana. And so they created it for us. Therefore, we can describe the boundaries we have in West Africa as artificial boundaries. We describe them as what? Artificial boundaries. Because of that, today, some of the elders live in Ghana, as I mentioned, others in Togo, others in Benin. There's a group known as Soso, the Soso clan. Some are in Liberia, Sierra Leone, sorry. Some are in Guinea. There's a tribe by name Kisi. You can find them in Sierra Leone. You can find them in Guinea and Liberia also. And if you look at the map, you see that all these countries are neighbors. Just like Musi people up north. All right. Some of them are in Ghana, some are in Mosikru, Burkina. And so that is what we're talking about. That if you don't have national unity and development. Number two, the pervasive influence of the foreign colonial powers. The pervasive influence of the foreign colonial powers. The Dutch were here, the Danes were here, the British came, the French came, the Portuguese came, and a host of other ones, okay, including the Belgians. They all came. I'm not talking about Ghana alone. They came. And when they left, they are still influencing some of the countries. Why is it that all the Francophone countries in Africa, not just West Africa, are still using SEPA? Why? They couldn't break away from the currency. All right. And they have their reserves in France. So in recent times, when the Sahelian countries started their thing, their alliance to do what we call close economy, they will not mind anybody apart from what they have in their country. France has started sweating. France is sweating giddy, 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 to the extent that they decided even to create a common currency and leave out the CFA. France started sweating. So these people are gone, yes, as colonial masters, but still in our politics, they are here. Still in our economy, they are here. Still in our culture, they are here. I hope you agree with me. We are unable to break away from them. Our past government presidents made the attempt, and trust me, all those governments, earlier ones, who attempted to break the yoke, who attempted to win their countries from the influence of foreign powers, were massacred. All of them. Not even one was left. Starting from our own Messiah, Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah. Today, let me place it on record that we may close earlier than uh, scheduled. We may not spend all the 4 hours today because usually our question is up to chapter 8. So when I do chapter 8, I'll only bring you the slides for chapter 9 and 10. Although for chapter 9 only, we will left with chapter 9. So I may not tackle chapter 9. Eh? Yes. So we may close earlier than previous times. Correct. So that is that for uh, the influence of colonial powers. The next factor is neocolonialism and economic underdevelopment. Neocolonialism. I hope you understand neocolonialism. Anybody to explain it? Neocolonialism. Oh, nobody is coming.
Sir, please help us.
Neocolonialism. Oh, this is has to do with colonial things. Where, just like I was explaining, where you are gone, but you still have substantial influence on your colony, especially in the area of economy or economics. Okay, where a dominant, powerful country, state, still controls a weaker country, politically independent one. that weaker country is politically independent, but still that dominant country is controlling it economically. That is neocolonialism. And that is what is happening in West Africa. Okay. We have a lot of resources, no doubt. And so question is, why are we still underdeveloped? Because there are resources that if I ask you to mention, natural ones, some of you will mention, most of the European countries do not have even a quarter of what we have. And that is why they are eye red. Because if there's nothing here, why would they bother to come here? And why are they always tying our hands to control us? They know if they don't control us with what they have been able to do, we will break away from them and they will be miserable. I tell you, they exist because Africa is in existence. And so they control us economically, take away our resources, and leave us poor, leave our standard low. They leave our social services deplorable. Okay. And so that is how it brings under development in Africa, West Africa. Then the next one is authoritarian regimes. Authoritarian regimes. You know, you have three styles of governance: autocratic, laissez-faire, and democratic. You remember them? In Africa, West Africa, we have people who are domineering, authoritarian. Okay, they come and you cannot, you know, overthrow them democratically. You can't. They will want to stay on and stay on and stay on. Look at what is happening in Togo. Is it democracy? I mentioned Cameroon a short while ago, even though it's not in West Africa. Is it democracy? Okay. Where a government is not going by the tenets of democracy, by the tenets of rule of law, by the principles of rule of law, okay, they become autocrats and they grow very intolerant, okay. They become immune to suggestion. They develop some kind of coldness towards criticism. You criticize them and they are the next time looking for you, either through their own instruction or from their agents. Okay. And so people are like that. Some governments are like that. They are autocratic. They undermine the very governance, the people that they govern. And that is a recipe for underdevelopment. The next point is any questions so far? We have problems of unemployment, underemployment, and civil wars as one point. You know unemployment. What is underemployment? Uh-huh.
So, meaning underemployment means uh, a considerable number of persons are not employed. But with unemployment, it means that the persons are not employed at all. But for underemployment, looking at the population, a total number of persons that are supposed to be employed are not employed.
Well, the unemployment bit is 100% right.
Yes.
But the
Mm.
underemployment is,
Yeah.
yes, Benon, let's see whether you can give us something different.
Underemployment, the situation whereby the number of people who are willing to work for a particular minimum wage or salary but cannot get the work to do, but they are only working in order to sustain their living. So they are working, but they are not fully employed in the field of experience. So we term that one as underemployment.
Well, it is just similar to what Elijah gave us. That when we mention unemployment, we're talking about a situation where you are employed. That's one thing you have to know. You are employed, but you have been given a job which is less than your capacity, lower than your skill, lower than your rank, that is underemployment. All right. Your skill, your capabilities are not used fully. For example, for example, you are a graduate teacher, okay, or let's say you are a professor. You qualify to teach in a university. Then they will go and give you crash to go and teach. Fetch. You're employed all the same. Oh. You're employed all right. That's look at it. Oh. That is what we term underemployment. I'm not saying a professor cannot teach at the crash level. You can teach there. But you find that the skill you have is higher and far above the level they have placed you. You understand? And that is what you call underemployment. So when people don't have work, as I said, the devil will find work for the idle hands. So if people are jobless, if people are alienated, if people are not well used by way of their skill, all right, they may resort to idleness. Yes, Vanessa.
Uh, yes, sir. Sir, please. Underemployed, does it have similarity with brain drain?
No, brain drain is a situation. Okay, somebody, brain drain. What is brain drain?
No, I want to know if they have things in common.
Oh,
For
okay. As a
instance,
brain drain, you know what it is, isn't it?
yes, I know what it is,
Okay,
and
good.
I'm saying
Good.
similarities. You
No,
were
not
trained.
at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Unless maybe your definition or understanding of brain drain is drifting into underemployment. Brain drain simply means the migration of the critical mass, the well-trained um, employees or people in your country. Doctors, okay, they migrate. They leave for other countries. Professors, they leave. Engineers, they leave. Lawyers, they leave. That is brain drain. You understand? And that one, they leave for other countries to go and do the same work there with the hope that they will
Employment.
get more and they will get more than what we are giving them. In fact, there came a time in Ghana when doctors left in groups. They left Papa. And that is why that field is still so important. That is why they are pampered in a way. When they go on strike, look at the alacrity, the speed with which their issues are resolved. Because we lacked them at a point, they left the country. And so the few who were left had to be pampered in a way. So that is the brain drain. The underemployment I have already explained. So they are not related. Good. Therefore, if people are jobless, if people are alienated, that is, you are in your own country, but you are treated as if you are an alien, a stranger. What they are going to do is that they are going to put up, all right, some kind of violent behaviors. They are going to threaten the security. They are going to pose political challenge. And that is for one recognition. They will stick to, they will take to violence. They will take to all drug addiction and all manner. Sometimes it is for recognition because they think that if I don't do this, nobody will even realize I'm around. Sometimes it is also for property, and sometimes it is for wives. Eh? Ah. So they resort to it. Therefore, give people jobs to do. That's all. The next one has to do with population explosion, diseases, and drought. 3 points in one. Population explosion, diseases, and what? Drought. If your population increases rapidly, astronomically, you are going to be underdeveloped because the rate at which you want to develop your country will be outstripped by the rate of childbearing. In other words, the number of people will exceed the amount of infrastructure or amenities that you have, and that is under development. Then again, if people are diseased, morbid, hmm? If people are morbid, they can't even work. So you'll be developed. Assuming there is um, building to construct, there are blocks to mold, and all your people are sick. Who will do that molding? So you'll be stagnated. And it is the reason, it is one of the reasons West Africa is still underdeveloped as compared to the European countries. You know why? This is a slave trade. You know what happened? They took away all the energetic people, all of them. The people they left behind were children and the aged. Okay, and they started spoon feeding them instead of West Coast is calling me. I'll be back. I am back. Who is leaving? Nobody should leave. Oh, I'm here.
So we are around.
Hey, so some of you haven't seen me before, eh? Hmm? Hmm. So that is me.
Wow, there I see your face.
That is
Whenever
me.
I see you, I can recognize you.
Okay, that's fine. Dark face, young old man. I am darker than the red dark. All right. And that is typical of my family. Okay, let's continue with our lecture. Good.
Wow. I
The
didn't
coordinator, pardon,
I didn't see your face. I didn't
you
see your
didn't see
face.
me. Margaret, where were you? Oh, where is my? uh Okay, for the sake of Margaret, this is me, and that is my mother at my back there. Died some 45 years ago. hmm So Maggie, this is me.
Seen me.
I'm tall. That one they have to tell you. I'm dark, but I'm not rich.
Okay.
I'm not rich. Okay, so I don't know you because you are scattered, but it's all good. All right, let's continue. As I told you, it was the coordinator for West Coast Center who called me yesterday. I was there to teach this block. I'm teaching three courses. I taught in the morning yesterday and taught in the afternoon yesterday. And some books have come from Tekus. I searched for them. I couldn't get. So he was telling me they are in or they were with him. That's why I took the break. Sorry for the interruption. Let's go. We are now on. I was telling you about diseases that if you are morbid, you can't work and you are going to be underdeveloped. And the next thing is drought. Okay, drought where you have dry conditions. You are going to be poor. You are going to be underdeveloped because you can't cultivate, you can't plant cash crops, you can't do farming work. and that will mean that you wouldn't be able to raise the money that you need. And so that is that point. Then we have examples have been given. All right. And you see, if you have dry conditions, what you're going to do is what is going to happen to you is that you will have drought and you will be malnourished because you didn't have proper food to eat. Okay. You will go hungry. Some of your animals will perish and all of that. Okay, so that is for that point. Then the last one is the almighty corruption and mismanagement. Almighty corruption and mismanagement. Why do you think countries become corrupt or people who are given positions, people who are given leadership roles become corrupt? Why do you think? What are the reasons? Mhm. Why do they become corrupt? Uh-huh. Oh, nobody is here. Why are our people corrupt? All of us. One day, if you are given the leadership role or minister, DC, what, you'll be corrupt.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
um, the corruption comes in with so many factors,
Mm-hmm.
but one of these sort is as a result of greed.
Fantastic
Then
point.
others may come from advice
Mm-hmm.
from
Precious.
people.
Pressure.
Yes.
Uh, because once they give you this rule, you attend the funeral, you attend the function, they expect that you give it back.
Ah. So the amount you will spend will be more than what you will gain.
So surely
So,
you have to look for the difference
aha.
from somewhere.
That,
Mm.
that's why that's why these days some works they have been selling some slots, and the slots have
Mm-hmm.
been sold. Once you are able to
Mm-hmm.
pay it, you are pushed in, and the money will go
Mm-hmm.
to somebody. And these are the
Mm-hmm.
our high-ranking politicians.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
You understand?
So that
So
kind of environmental factor
you
also
can say
supports
that is societal pressures.
the societal pressures. Yes, support the
Mm-hmm.
corruption, and then one of it is also as a result of our own desire.
Mm-hmm.
Some of some of us, it is part
Mm-hmm.
of us, for it is in our mindset.
Okay.
Uh, I quite remember I was just teaching my students, and then we were just talking and said, okay, one day if you are given a role to play as the president of Ghana for just a
Mm-hmm.
week, what will you do for the
Mm-hmm.
country with all the monies?
Mm-hmm.
And to my
Mm-hmm.
surprise, a class five pupil told me that,
Mm-hmm.
say, sɛ Ghana sika nyinaa ka me sia ne ɔsɛ ka mekyɛ mu half ɛndeɛ ɛyɛ me nko ara me dea, and then the rest
Mm-hmm.
he has a
And
way
then
of distributing it
I see.
by saying that even there are some people he will give them some, but there are some people
Mm-hmm.
too
And
they
that's
will not get anything at all, but on records
you
it
see,
will be that they've gotten anything, but
that
deep
young boy was
inside,
able to tell you all this.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it became a laughter in the class. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
hey.
Mm-hmm.
For just 1 week.
That's it. That's it. And so the Ghanaian, the African is born corrupt. Is that not it?
Yes,
By
sir.
by birth, we are corrupt. And the book
Definitely.
tells you about, yes, apart from what Noah Elijah has told us, the book mentions three things that will bring about corruption. Or the one thing, how corruption comes, is that a country where institutions institutions are weak, that is a country where corruption thrives. Parliament, judiciary, civil society, these are the institutions the book mentions. Now, as soon as these institutions become weak, because they are the ones who are supposed to serve as checks and balances, all right, for the masses. The executive, as the name implies, is supposed to execute whatever plans that the citizenry would want executed. But in the course of executing it, they become corrupt. Therefore, we have other institutions that are supposed to put them on their toes, to check them. As soon as those institutions become corrupt themselves or weak, I think weakness also includes being corrupt. As soon as, like our judiciary, as we keep saying, everybody in this country knows that when you get a case at the court, you have to pay bribe for the case to go your way. Like that. Who doesn't have this idea? So that point, we are corrupt, or that institution is weak. Then parliament. The last 8 parliaments, we heard from one of them that somebody was even going to bribe them as far as some bill or something was concerned. You remember those who follow current affairs. So if that is the situation, then what do you expect? So it means that that institution is also corrupt or is also weak. Then civil society organizations, you know them, we used to call them NGOs, like Imani in Ghana, all right, like Nana Jumo Sapon's own. So many of them, there are plenty, like CDD, huh?
Sir,
Like
sir,
IBEG, yes. Mm.
you are even going too far. Let's come down to our societies where it is
Mo-
ruled by kings and then whatever.
mhm,
Cases may go to them, and you could see how judgments are passed. You will clap your hands.
mhm, mhm. You get a
In
point.
our
So,
in our churches and so many places that concerns our
mhm,
societies, all these things are
mhm.
happening there. We are
Yeah,
not able to put the thing right, all due because someone is able to pay something somewhere, and that's
that is
that's that.
why they say that don't take bribe, don't take largesse, okay? Don't take favors, huh? Stipends, like tips. As soon as the person will come and do you good, pep, that is the end. It's a recipe for disaster. So these institutions will be weak. But 3 reasons people go corrupt. One, low salaries. Low salaries. If your salary is low, and indeed Ghana, and sometimes the why some of them who come, they wonder how you're able to stay. Looking at the economic conditions, how can you pay somebody 1,000 cedis in this country, and some who are even on full-time employment are taking less than 1,000 a month? So if this person gets to a place where he's capable of scooping something, amassing wealth, you think he will leave it? That is number one, low salaries. Because in this country, it is known that everybody's salary is not enough for him or her. Therefore, if you put a person in any office, or is likely to go corrupt. But come to think of it, okay, so let's assume your salary has been doubled. Economic conditions remain the same. And when I talk about economic conditions, I'm talking about prices of items, the cost of items remain or remains the same. Are you going to stay without being corrupt? You understand? That is the point. And so, low salaries. Number two, poverty. Poverty. People are poor. And so when they get to a place where they think that, hey, I had a, this is my breakthrough, I have to amass it. So it's just like those who get positions in government. Now that I'm here, let me get however much I have to get. If tomorrow I'm kicked out, then I'll be okay. That's what they think. Poverty. If you are rich, I don't think you think like that. You wouldn't think that way. Like what is happening, if you have heard the National Signals Bureau thing, the National Service Gen card, and the Bonkra Keke. If it is true, let me use the word allegedly, the allegation that has come up about the National Service in the previous government. If it is true, all right, all of these, and yes, apart from it being a part of poverty. It is also a part of the third point, as Noah mentioned, greed. The book mentions greed. Greed. Hmm? People are greedy to the bone, highly, highly greedy. It doesn't matter what they have. Once the thing is there and they have control over it, oh, come on. They will want to pick it and, oh, too bad. Too bad. So these are the reasons for development, underdevelopment in West Africa. And that is the end of chapter 7. We are moving straight. Any questions so far? We are moving straight to tackle chapter 8. Chapter 8. And chapter 8, that will be my last chapter. Make sure we are in the I'll close the lesson because I'll bring you the slides all the same. But I think not too long from today, you'll start writing your quiz. So you have to create some time, some space for you to learn, to revise. So I'll do desertification. That is the title for chapter 8. Desertification in West Africa. What is a desert? What are some of the things you know about a desert? Or what is desertification? Mm-hmm.
Okay, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All I know
Hey,
about
today it's
the
only Elijah. Azuma, you came in briefly, but you are out. Come back again. Oh. Let's hear your voice. Mama Elijah and Kwan and Kenny. Beauty, you answer there. Noah, you haven't spoken. Really? The whole day. No show. Desmond, the whole day. Okay, Elijah, let's have you. Next, I'll mention their names. Okay,
okay,
Nyamin
sir.
Sam, you have. Mm-hmm.
Sir, all I know about a desert is that place, all almost all the vegetation have wiped off. You not
Okay.
see trees, and then
Okay, man can moving soon can be. Really? Let's hear you.
So that place, all trees are off. Sunny, is sandy. Yeah, that's the place.
Okay, Sandy. Yes, I hope we are those who are not contributing. I hope you are listening. It is Sandy also. Yes, let's go to Maggie. Magiada. 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 Maggie. Father. Let's go to Noah.
Hey, my phone
Yes,
was
Maggie.
far from me.
Uh-huh.
I'm using headphones. My phone was far from me.
Yeah, okay, that's
So
all right.
about
That's all right.
areas we can describe as being desertificated have poor weather conditions,
Such as
as in low rainfall,
okay, that is the point.
type of
That's the point. Yes,
thing.
that's the point. Okay, let's go to beauty. What do you know about desert? Oh, beauty, 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 beauty. All right. So now let's try and define desertification. Desertification. Mm-hmm. Desertification. What is it?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
please, can I talk?
Yes, go ahead, Vanessa.
Okay. Desertification is the process whereby fertile land become increasingly dry, losing its productivity and ability to support vegetation.
Exactly. That is desertification, a process. Land turning into a desert. So when desert encroaches or eats into areas where you don't have desert, that is the process. So Vanessa is right. Now in West Africa, we have this problem. We have desertification as one of our troubles because Lumba, the late Lumba, my icon, my favorite musician so far, he said that in one of his songs, the only song he sang in English all throughout, Children of the Future, he said, Sahara is expanding every year. Sahara, the largest desert in the world, is expanding every year. If you check your map, you find that Burkina Faso is quite a distance from the Sahara. But I tell you, the Sahara has now expanded to engulf Burkina. So Burkina is now a Saharan country. It is a Sahelian country, no doubt about it. But the Sahara Desert has expanded to engulf it. And so this situation is threatening our very survival in West Africa. Now, after knowing what desertification is, we have to look at causes of desertification. Causes of desertification. What brings desertification into the world, into the system? Number one, it is the degradation of dry lands, degradation of lands. Okay, that is the first point, where you are degrading the land. Okay, if you are degrading the land, it means you are letting the land lose its purity. The land is losing everything that makes it fertile, everything that makes it serene or pristine. Okay, and it includes overgrazing, it includes deforestation, it includes poor farming practices such as overcultivation. All right. It also includes poor irrigation practices. If you do any of these, you are degrading the land. You are degrading the land. And in no time, the land will turn into what? A desert. That is number one. Number two, as you have degraded it, these dry lands may respond quickly to climatic fluctuations. Now, one thing that brings about desertification is the climate. And one notable thing or one characteristic of desert is that it does not rain on that desert so much. The whole year it may rain once, and even that it might not be too strong a rain the whole year. You understand? So climatic fluctuation. That is to say, where precipitation varies so much, where precipitation is not so much, it doesn't rain too often. Okay, and where we have nothing also, such as rivers, oases to support whatever is there. That means that the land is responding to the weather, to the climate. And as soon as the land responds to the climate, such that the rain is not falling too much or throughout the year it rains just once, then you are likely to have dry conditions. It happens in Ghana, but nature is so kind to us that from now onwards, it has not rained where I am for the past 5 days or so. And come and see how some of the grasses are withering. They are drying up. So if it continues by January, you can imagine what will happen. And so if by January it doesn't rain, February, March, and so on, you can imagine what we will be going through. You understand? And so the weather or the climate is also a cause of desertification. Okay. Now the next thing is inability of people to adjust to natural fluctuations. Natural fluctuations. That is the point. And here it says that the biological and economic resources of dry lands, notably soil quality, fresh water supply, vegetation, and crops are always damaged. Okay, these things are what? Damaged. Oh, whose microphone is on? I am not close to the phone, so I can't mention your name. Please mute unless you want to contribute. Okay, and so all these things are damaged, as Vanessa said. They will be they will be damaged. Now, when they are damaged, and you still would want to use them as if they are not damaged, your soil is damaged. It doesn't have what it takes to be a soil or to be soil. Your water system is damaged because you don't have fresh water. Your vegetation is damaged. Your crops are all damaged. And still, you want to practice, huh? You want to practice shifting cultivation or shifting agriculture. You want to do nomadic heading as a strategy to protect your land. The land is already damaged, but you are doing shifting. You know shifting cultivation. You are doing nomadic heading. You know nomadic heading, where you take your animals to go around according to the season. If you do this, you are not protecting the land, but rather you are damaging the land further. Okay, and so these strategies, as I mentioned, they have become far less practical because our economies have changed, our political circumstances have changed, our populations have changed, huh? And our communities have also changed. The point I'm making is that if people are unable to adjust because already the land is getting dry, and you're also using methods that will not help the preservation of the land, you are going to destroy it further. And so the point is inability of people to adjust to natural fluctuations. So where there's a change, you have to change also. These days, our climate, our weather has changed though. Mm. And so people have to change. And that explains why our cocoa is in trouble. We are not reaping much because cocoa is responding to the change in our climate. That is the third point. We go to the fourth one. Number four. There are plenty points here. I'm going to do the number four and leave the rest. I'll mention them and bring you the slides. The fourth one says that the relatively low priority given to environmental protection often leads to poor land management. So let's say poor environmental protection or poor land management. Land must be what? Managed. In Ghana, I can say we are not managing our land. Who are they? Who are those things sit? Or who are those who have been employed or trained to manage it? No, I'm here to hear somebody says, I'm a land manager, but we have lands commission. I hope you know that we have lands commission. But somebody must be in charge of the land. How will the land be managed? That person should be the one to tell you what activity is fit for a parcel of land. That person should be the one to tell you how much of a particular activities are fit for a particular place. That person should be the one to tell you what crops you can grow on any piece of land. That person should be the one to tell you that the type of buildings you should even put up. I bemoan how we put up our buildings. I get worried. You know why? Land, even though we say, in economics, you say land is limited in supply. Land is limited in what? Supply. Now, apprise your mind to what is happening in our communities. All the nearby lands that once upon a time yielded fruit and crops for us to eat are now being turned into building plots. They are all being turned into building plots. They are all being sold. Where I am reaching you from, once upon a time, you was somebody's cocoa farm. And now there's a huge building sitting on it. So the point I'm making is that we keep putting up buildings. We keep expanding our settlements, which shouldn't be the case. because everyone would want to put up a building. I grew up, I put up a building. I have 4 children. They will grow up wanting to put up their own building. So the land will be used up. How about going into mortgaging or estate development? Why do we have 27 floors for one building in, let's say, London? What do Americans have 110 floors? Abransai, it was 110, known as the World Trade Center. Why didn't they put them up single, 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 single? Every floor is occupying a small land somewhere. Why didn't they do that? If you put up a high-rise building, you are conservative. In fact, anybody who buys a land, me, I don't have money to put up story building. But if you buy a plot of land and put up a story building, what you have done is that even if it is one story, you have created 2 plots out of one. You understand? So that instead of putting those 2 floors on 2 different locations or at 2 different locations, you have it all at one location. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. Therefore, if our buildings, our accommodations were put up, the building I'm occupying now is a short building. What if they increase it to about 10, for example? I can tell you all the bungalows here, all the bungalows where I am can be placed on just one plot, just one, so that the rest of the land will be there. And that is what is happening. That instead of encouraging estate development where they will put up high-rise buildings for people to buy, we are encouraging people, individuals, to put up their own buildings, short ones, eating up the land. Land management. Land management. If that happens, it can bring about desertification for land management. So the rest of the points are international economic forces can encourage people to over-exploit their land. That is the next point. The next one is ignorance, errors, and natural and man-made disasters can also contribute to land degradation. All right. And the last one is increasing population and population densities. All these are causes of desertification. Let's go to consequence. Any questions so far? Consequences of desertification. Consequences of desertification. What are some of the things that will happen if you create a desert condition? Number one, desertification reduces the land's resilience to natural climate variability. The land must be resilient. The land should be able to withstand the weather. The land must maintain its purity, even in adverse weather. The land can only do that if it has what it takes, such as vegetation cover, such as trees. You check a land which is full of trees. Look at how rich it is. Look at how um, uh, um, wet or moisture, if there's anywhere like that, how that land has a lot of moisture. Because the trees, the vegetation, will prevent the sun's energy from getting direct contact with the land. But here's the case, we have cleared it, we have created a desert, and so we have killed the land's ability to stand natural climatic conditions. That is the first one. That is the first consequence. Number two, the soil becomes less productive. The soil becomes less productive. I've been asking myself, I've been asking myself, what are the things you get from the sky? They are mostly intangible things, like the air we breathe, the chemicals that help us, okay, the spectrum that helps us to communicate. These are the things you get from the atmosphere, the sky. Apart from that, all the tangible things you see were obtained from the land. All the tangible things, including the food you eat. I'm yet to see somebody grow food in the sky. And so, if the land becomes affected, if it becomes degraded, what is going to happen is that we are going to expose the topsoil. Okay, we are going to expose the topsoil to be agents of erosion, agents of denudation, such as water, and it is going to erode the topsoil. It can be also be blown away by the wind. Go to the desert. You see how the wind is scooping sand, plenty of it away. All right. And so that will change the structure of the soil. It will also change the chemical composition of the soil. Again, if you degrade the land, what you are doing is that you are allowing rainwater to create gullies, okay, to create gullies, cause erosion in the land, and all the vital nutrients will be what? Removed. Okay, and so it is going to hamper our ability to produce food over there. When the soil is trampled upon also, and it is compacted by cattle. You know, cattle, they are bulky. All right. When they step at one place, even human beings, if you walk on a certain road for some time, you find that that place becomes so hard that even when you stop walking there or using that road, it takes some time for weeds to grow over there. So all these are likely to prevent us from growing food. The soil will become less productive, and you know the consequence of that. That is point number two. Consequence number two. Consequence number three, your vegetation becomes damaged. Vegetation becomes damaged. All right, we have already mentioned this. Okay, because the very moment you started at one end, it will be eating, it will be expanding. Okay, so to get to a point, there wouldn't be any vegetation. But make no mistake, it does not mean there's no vegetation on desert at all. There is. Now those are specialized vegetation. They are vegetation that are special, and we call them xerophyte. Xerophyte, Xero, xerophyte. Okay, and so you damage your vegetation. The fourth one says some of the consequences are borne by people living outside the immediately affected area. Remember globalization. Globalization. I hope you know that word. What is globalization? Mm-hmm. What is globalization? Oh,
Hello, sir.
yes. Let's
I
go.
think globalization comes from the word globe, and
Yes.
yes, it's a means of explaining that the world is in the form of we are in one particular village.
Okay. Okay. Any more? Another person. Mm-hmm. A situation where all the countries in the world become interdependent. They become what? Interdependent to the extent that they share a lot in common, such as education, communication, even transportation, telecommunication. You understand? That is what you call globalization. We become global, we become one. Now, if you know it, I'm using it to explain the point that it affects people who are not around where you created your mess. And it is so that because the world is now a global village, whatever you do in your small corner affects somebody at another end. I keep giving this as an example that there is a desert in India known as Gobi Desert, Gobi, Gobi Desert. Look at Ghana and India, distance away, all right? But you know, dust from that desert, dust in Futuro from that desert blows all the way onto the Accra plains to form what we call loose. It does. Dust from that desert settles on the Accra plains. Look at the distance. And it comes with the movement of the wind. You know, wind also has direction. So when the wind directs itself towards in a certain way, okay, it carries to that point all the material that it wants to carry. So wind from that desert deposits dust on the Accra place. If you use spray, years ago there was something called aerosols or CFC, chlorofluorocarbons. And if it contains it, it is going to destroy the ozone layer. You will not be the only one who will suffer from that destruction. Everybody will suffer. Now the whole world is talking about climate change. All right. We, the less developed countries, contribute less to this phenomenon. The more developed countries do that, they contribute so much to that, but we are suffer. If you create desert conditions, you the one who did that may not suffer. Please, a minute. Let me take a call. I'll be back.
Hello. Please, my sound is not coming. Is it coming from my end?
He says he's picking a call.
Yeah, what Bill Michael?
I am back. So that is the point that those who are not in the immediate environs of where the desert was created even suffer. Dust storms, okay, dust storms, air pollution resulting from that desert condition is suffered by people who are not within that immediate that area. All right. If you create noise, for example, yesterday somebody was fooling. Come and see smoke from his car. I nearly caused his arrest. Okay. So machinery, unwanted sediment deposition, all these are menace that are destroying or harassing all of us. Therefore, today people are having all kinds of eye infections. You'll be there from nowhere, you have a certain infection, respiratory illnesses, allergies. When I was growing up, diabetes was not common. Oh. In fact, we didn't even know. We refer to it as a area in my village. BP was not there. We refer to it as area. Huh? Hepatitis was nowhere to be found. But today they are common, not because of sometimes some mistakes some people commit to, But because of some of these things we're talking about, people stay in their small corners, cause the harm, and those outside are the ones who are usually affected. So that is the point. Now, the next point is food production is undermined. If you create desert conditions, food production is undermined. As you said, the soil becomes less productive. Okay, you cultivate, you will not get much yield, and even people will be discouraged from cultivation entirely. So if you don't get the required food, you become malnourished, you starve, you go hungry, and if you are not careful, that will take your life. The next consequence is that desertification has enormous social cost. People will migrate, that is the social cost. People will conflict, they will go into conflict, that is the social cost. There will be pressure on environmental resources, that will be the social cost. Somebody will ask, why pressure? Because this place is destroyed. I have to move on to look for something that will help me somewhere. So the environment is always going to be distressed. You understand? So these are the consequences of desertification across the world. Across the world, what have been the efforts of leaders to contain the menace of desertification? What have they done, and how have they solved it? The first thing world leaders, African leaders, West African leaders have done is that all African countries are party, they are party to the United Nations Convention to combat desertification, UNCCD, United Nations Convention to combat desertification. Okay, and every country is supposed to implement what you call national action program, national action programs. You are expected to implement it. And what is in this? What does this one entail? Okay, affected countries are expected to consult on their respective rules in supporting these countries. In other words, they are specific to regional circumstances. Places are not desert. Some places are not desert. So if you know where you are is desert, all right, you have to let people know so that they'll come to your aid. And the pact, the convention is that once somebody complains of um, getting a desert condition, you are obliged as a member state of the UN to go to the aid of that person. All right. So if I come because of desert, I don't have food. I know you have it. You are supposed to give me food. All right. There are regional zones for implementation. And here we have the zones to be Africa, we have Asia, we have Latin America, and the Caribbeans. These are the regional zones and eastern part of Europe. So as at March 2008, 102 national action plans or programs have been prepared and adopted. So you know you have a desert condition, you have prepared your action plan. And what does that one entail? Okay, it entails how you want to adjust or adapt to the environment. It also contains how you want other countries to come to your aid, the aid that you need. All right, you have to put it across. That is the first thing the United Nations has done, because this is not only West African issue, neither is it only Africa. It is an issue for the whole world, because whatever affects one end of the world affects the other end of it. Then there have been second one, there have been efforts to combat desertification. Effort to combat desertification should be fully integrated into the developmental program framework of nations. It shouldn't exist. That effort shouldn't exist in isolation. All right. Try, do it. Let it be a daily thing. Okay, let it be something that you are going to do on daily basis. Once you segregate it from the national program, in Ghana, all our programs are contained in the budget. And so budgetary allocations are made to specific programs. So you make it a part of it so that attention will be drawn there. These are actions that have been taken for containing or to contain the menace of desertification. Now, at the local level, there are some preventive actions that people also take. Local level. The first one is prevention of soil from erosion. In other words, prevention of soil erosion. Prevention of soil from erosion. How would you do that? Because the more your soil gets eroded, the more it is becoming difficult for plants to grow. So you do terracing, you do cover cropping. You know cover cropping. You plant avenue trees. You plant grasses so that it will block the rainwater or even the wind from scooping the sand away. That is at the local level. We can all do that. Then, if you do that also, it will prevent what you call salinization and other degradation through integrated land and water management. In other words, if you prevent erosion, you are also preventing um, the land from getting degraded. The land will not lose its purity. It will stay pure for people to use. So basically, prevent erosion. Then, as I mentioned, protecting the vegetative cover. Protecting the vegetative cover to help minimize the impact, the forces of the inundation, impact of the forces of the inundation. In other words, the vegetation is there. And don't forget, man has been the greatest pillager, the greatest destroyer. All right. And so if you protect the vegetation, it is going to serve you and serve you better. Therefore, protect it. Simple simplicity. And that is why in this country called Ghana, people are prevented from entering the forest or going in there to farm. It's a way to protect it. All right. Then the next one says ensuring sustainable mixed farming where necessary and crop rotation where necessary and crop rotation to ensure efficient cycling of nutrients. Now we are down to farming. Do you farm? I do. I do. So do mixed cropping. You know why? On a piece of land, you can plant plantain. You can do cassava. You can do cocoyam. In fact, you can even do garden eggs. All right? You can do the mbiumpu, even yam. They will alternate. Where there is plantain, there is no cocoyam. Cocoyam will stay at another place. Where the cocoyam, so in between the plantain, you can plant your cocoyam. In between the cocoyam or the plantain, you can have your cassava. Like that. That is what makes cropping. Mixed cropping. You're putting all your crops together. Okay? Or you're doing crop rotation. Where on the same piece of land, you plant this crop today, tomorrow it is another crop. So that those that can enrich the soil will be available for those that cannot enrich the soil to use. Like beans, the legumes, they absorb nitrogen and turn it into nitrate and fix that one into the soil. Okay, and the soil gets richer for human beings to use. All right, so that is it. Then the next one says we have to build the capacity of local communities to manage this menace of desertification. Capacity building. Teach them. Let them know how to prevent it. After prevention, if it comes or if desert conditions come, then you should also let them know how to what, how to adapt and how to manage it. Capacity building. All right. And so these are a few and some of the ways by which locals have prevented our soil from getting degraded. Okay. We are coming to the end of our lesson. I told you we wouldn't stay long. Yesterday, because I had done more than enough with the classes that apart from the first year class, which has one more week. Don't forget we have first years also. I call them first years. Cohort 3. You are cohort 2. Cohort 3 has started already. We have done 3 weekends already. They are left with one last weekend. I met them yesterday online. Tomorrow, next week I'll meet them face to face. Here at West School, because of our numbers, we meet face to face. In fact, on the WhatsApp platform, the social studies group for this cohort 3 are 92 or so. Can you imagine? A large number, 92. All right. So we are coming to a close. Chapter 9 will not be tackled. That is the last chapter. Yeah. That is the last chapter. The book is made up of 9 chapters. And the chapter 9 is on migration patterns. Patterns and issues of migration. Patterns and issues of migration. I know you know much about it because it's a very, very common topic in almost all the social science, social studies courses, and the liberal courses. All right, so I'll not bore you with it. I will bring you the slides all the same for you to have a look at. Already, I've given you slides up to chapter 7. So to those of you
Please,
who are not aware, yeah,
sir,
Nyame.
sir, on our platform is up to 3. I've not seen up to 7. So if
You
it
are
will
one of
come
the
more.
you are one of the people who don't visit your platform. You are one of them. Claire, me them
I
macho
just even
Claire.
checked it.
I'm saying that macho Claire. Claire, you know when I sent these ones, I sent them Monday on Monday. I sent them just a day after. A day after I met you. I sent chapter 4. I sent chapter 5, 6, and 7. In fact, I double sent them, so later I had to delete the first ones, which were not properly arranged. But in the first one, the chapter 6 came first because of the network and so on.
Hey.
But the second one that I sent, I realized it was well arranged, so I deleted the first ones. So, Nyami, you are the only stranger in Jerusalem. One way man can't, but what time? All these chapters. So we want somebody.
But sir, I'm still checking. It's not there. So I don't know if anybody has it. They should send it back.
Which page are you checking? Mention the name of the group.
Regional geography.
Uh-huh.
Where they put the link.
Where they put the link. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Uh-huh. I am also on that page. Since the 3 people I started to be here, including course tutors and so on. All right. And the administrator is let me see. The administrator is Shekina. Onukroma Council and Vanessa. And then we'll be on the home page or the China for and is that where you are?
To see, Mr. Nyame, please put hi there on the page so that I can confirm if you are there.
The pages
Okay,
are two.
sir,
The pages
sir.
are two.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I think the regional geography is 2. So I've seen the second one. I've seen it. I just checked.
So this is clear that
All
you don't
right.
visit the page. It's clear.
Yeah,
That
I
you
just
don't
say to, but it's like it's 2.
it's clear. So I don't visit.
Okay.
Yami, we did that too clear.
Sir,
So, uh-huh. Yes.
after catching Sir Nyami, our plea is that if you have some past questions, you just drop it for us so that we can just go through and see how
I know
we
that
can
one too. I know that one too. Nyame will not see it. All right, I'll do that in the course of the day. Once our lesson has been shortened, I will use the rest of the time to search. In fact, I should have more, but you know, the more you keep them, the more it congests your room. You understand? Because I have taught this course since 2018. Every semester, not with switch, with sandwich.
Hey,
Since 2018, I
you've
with
come a long
sandwich.
way.
Oh yeah, I've taught this course since that time. So I should have more past, and every time I am the first or primo inter pares when it comes to teaching regional geog at the
Oh,
sandwich level. So every time I am the team leader. You understand? So I should have them, but sometimes out of anger, I bend some of the people. Hey, baby. So I even have marking schemes around. Not just the past person. I have marking schemes. So, but marking schemes are not supposed to go out. The questions will come for you to discuss. Once you have two groups, I'm not on the other one. You can create one as your discussion group. You are about to complete. It is not too late. You can have a discussion group where all of you will plan, meet as you have met today. uh, and then let's say you are on the same, you can use the same link. Uh, One link, you can choose any of the links and say we are going on to this link. We are going to discuss economics or geography, regional geography. All right. And then you read a person, somebody will read a person. Then all of you will be discussing as if you are together under a certain tree. That is how it should be. In fact, the first years, those that are called first year, cohort three, they have created their discussion group already. And you know, the point is that on your platforms, some of us are there. So certain things you don't want us to, you know, hear or see. You can create another WhatsApp group, or you can decide to use the link and do as you have done, as if you are going for a lecture. So all of you will be there. One person will be the leader. You read the question, then all of you will contribute from what you know, from what you know. And along the line, sometimes you cross check, you go into the book and check the correct answers like that. One thing I have to tell you, and I've forgotten to tell you, my course coordinator is not a difficult person at all. It's not. And questions keep repeating. In his case, what is in the book is exactly the marking scheme, verbatim. So if a question drops, all right, for you to talk about, let's say, consequences of the dedication, everything there from A to Z will be part of the marking scheme. You know why he does it that way? So that whatever thing that you remember and write is there. And that helps people to pass a lot. All right. So the slides, as I keep saying also, the slides contain, and if you have checked, it is quite comprehensive. It contains, or they contain over 85% of what the book has, because some of the things you have to summarize and so on. So I'll bring you the last two slides and you'll be fine. And then, as somebody has requested, past questions will also be pushed to you. On that note, we are coming to the end of our lecture, our meeting. I thank all of you for your cooperation and your attendance. I know it is difficult sometimes. Some of you are elders of your churches. You have to sacrifice and come. Some of you are parents. You have to sacrifice and come. You understand? But you have endured it. Okay, so kudos to you for successfully going through all the semesters. We started as 4 semesters, but later you have to block them. So kudos to all of you. The next activity will be quizzes, examination, and then your online quiz. After that, graduation. And I'm praying that all of you will sail through without any referral, without anything to do with UCC by way of writing another page for another exam. Thank you all for coming. May God bless and keep all of us. Bye bye.
Please, colleagues, please, I need help. Please. Please, can someone tell me more about? I saw this notice that we are, if you want to pay your fees, you are not to use the Zenith Bank code. Is there any other code that you can use to pay without going to the bank? Because though I've seen that of ADB and those things, but I don't have their codes.
I think you contact the Cedric and those people. I think those people, the account office, they go to your portal, the account office, their numbers so you contact them, they can help you. I think so because but I also saw that I was something like that, but I have not tried it, so I cannot be.
Elijah.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, there is a
the
short
code.
code. There is a short code, so I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I will put
Then
it on the platform.
put it on the platform because maybe not me alone might need it.
Of course, I
Okay,
even
thank
need
you.
it too.
Okay, so thank you.
Mr. Eric, did you tell us areas to read for the quiz? Because my network went off.
Mr. Raja, you are well
Hello, can I?
free. Chapter 1 to 3, as we have been doing all along.
Hello. Please, can I get Doc's number? Can someone help me with Doc's number? Hello.
Elijah. Elijah. Please, those who were in need of the short code, I have pasted it on the platform.